This is the original trailer for Stardew Valley. It was uploaded on September 1st, 2012 on YouTube by the developer of the game, ConcernedApe. Stardew Valley would go on to be released on February 26th, 2016 on Steam. During the following years, it was ported to other platforms such as mobile, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One and PS Vita. Yes, Stardew Valley was actually released for the PS Vita. I don't know why that surprises me, considering games like Borderlands 2, Terraria and Minecraft were all ported to the PS Vita too. Regardless, Stardew Valley has received very positive to overwhelmingly positive reviews for every platform it is available on. In fact, as of this video being made, the game has almost 460,000 reviews on Steam. Of these reviews, 98% of them are positive. And I agree with those positive reviews. Go buy the game on Steam. Right now. But buy the soundtrack for the game too. The premise of Stardew Valley is simple. Your character has had enough of working for a company called Joja. They packed their bags and moved to Stardew Valley. More specifically, they moved to a place called Pelican Town. Their grandfather left them his old farm in his will. This farm is located in Pelican Town, hence your character's decision to move here. Your character then starts a new life as a farmer. Their daily activities include planting and growing various crops, interacting with the various citizens of Pelican Town, fishing, and exploring the local mines in search of treasure. The farmer can also choose to take one of two roads. The first road leads to the old abandoned community center in town being restored. In order to do this, the farmer must find dozens of various items and bring them to the community center. In exchange for these items, little magical creatures called Junimos will rebuild the community center. This is widely regarded as the good road to take. Alternatively, the farmer can head into the local Joja shop in town. Bear in mind, the reason the farmer moved to Pelican Town in the first place was because they no longer wanted to work for Joja. Regardless, the farmer decides to buy a Joja membership. At this point, the community center can no longer be rebuilt and is instead turned into a warehouse used by Joja. This, of course, is often referred to as the bad road to take, and I'm being very nice with that description. After fully completing one of these two roads, the farmer unlocks a new area to explore called Ginger Island. For all intents and purposes, this signifies that you have reached the endgame portion of Stardew Valley. But in some ways, the game has only just truly begun. This island contains a new farmhouse for you to move into, a new patch of land for you to fill crops with, a new quest, a new mine system to explore in the volcano on the island, and access to a room which allows you to see how close you are to achieving 100% completion. Exactly 7 years later, Stardew Valley is currently the 23rd most played game on Steam. Something else to consider is that 14 of the games above it are either open world games or MMOs, or at the very least, they allow for multiplayer games consisting of more than 4 people. So what exactly has led to Stardew Valley establishing a consistent, loyal and dedicated fanbase? What drew people into the game in the first place? In order to answer these questions, we are going to analyze the main features of the game. So, let's dive right in to the world of Stardew Valley. I remember the first time I played Stardew Valley. The title screen and the accompanying music was a breath of fresh air. I realized almost immediately that this was like no other game that I had played before. Up until that point, I primarily played games like Life is Strange, The Wolf Among Us and Heavy Rain. Story-based games, essentially. Of course, I played open world games too. Sleeping Dogs, Mafia 2 and Vice City were among my favorite games to play for quite some time. Perhaps this explains why I found myself growing bored of Stardew Valley only a few hours into my first playthrough. When it comes to games, the most important things for me are the story and the characters. At the time, Stardew Valley didn't seem to have a story. I was essentially told to plant a few parsnips, build a coop on my farm, and help magical little creatures called Junimos rebuild the old, derelict community center. I abandoned the game around the start of winter in my first playthrough. I could definitely see the appeal of the game, but I was almost certain that it was one that I would never touch again. I'm not entirely sure what made me go back to Stardew Valley after that, but regardless, I did. And more so than that, I actually gave it a real chance. I made my way through the entirety of spring, then summer, then fall, then winter. I didn't go out of my way to donate items to the community centre. Instead, I talked to the villagers when I saw them. I planted different seeds to see which ones sell for the most amount of gold. I, very foolishly I might add, tried to make my way through the mines with only a copper pickaxe. Then I realised you can upgrade your pickaxe in the shop owned by the local blacksmith. I found my first prismatic shard, one of the most valuable items in the game, and immediately donated it to the museum. I spent an entire year using the bamboo fishing rod you get at the start of the game to fish because I didn't know you could purchase better fishing rods. I made mistakes, sure, but I was also having fun. And that was something that I hadn't experienced with many games at the time. Maybe it's because I had played the same games for too long, or maybe the newer games at the time just didn't spark my interest. Regardless, Stardew Valley was the most fun game I had played in quite some time. I continued playing, making it through the entirety of the second year, donating all of the items needed for the community centre to be rebuilt, and unlocking the aforementioned Ginger Island. It was at this point that I realised this game had a story. It just wasn't obvious to me when I first played it. The beautiful thing about Stardew Valley is that you decide what the story is. Do you want the story to be about a person who leaves their old life behind, moves to a new town and rebuilds the community centre? Then that is exactly what the story is. Maybe you want to approach it from a slightly more devious angle. Perhaps you would like the story to be about somebody who moves to a new town and immediately helps a big corporation take over the town, essentially ruining the future of the local shopkeeper. That can be the story too. You could choose to have it be a story about how a novice fisherman trained day and night, day in and day out until they were finally ready to catch fish talked about in legends or folktales. The possibilities for storylines in this game are essentially endless. A charming new farmer arrives in town and immediately starts dating all of the bachelors and bachelorettes. This then leads to quite the kerfuffle when all of their boyfriends and girlfriends realize they are all dating the same person. A brave adventurer arrives in town determined to explore the mines. They make their way through all 120 floors of the mines, defeating various monsters along the way. Finally, they reach the bottom of the mines. Just when they think they are done, they find a key in a treasure chest which they can use to enter another dangerous mine system called the Skull Cavern. Even more dangerous monsters, but even more valuable treasure awaits them here. My point is, Stardew Valley allows you to choose what the story is. It allows you to be whoever you want to be. Personally, I like to use this as an opportunity to do the things I cannot do in real life. These things include, but are not limited to, fishing, having a stable income, being able to socialize for longer than 30 minutes without feeling exhausted, and owning a horse. The decision to have the story of Stardew Valley be exactly what the player wants it to be is a bold choice. But in my opinion, it added to the longevity of Stardew Valley. There is no canon storyline. The way that I choose to play the game will be different from the way in which somebody else plays the game. The personality, mindset, and goals of my farmer are going to be different from those of somebody else's farmer. This allows for many, many different types of playthroughs to be done, all with different goals and restrictions. This is something that can be seen in the various 100 Days of Stardew Valley videos that have been uploaded here on YouTube. But what is a story without characters? Actually, that is a great segue. Speaking of characters, on the surface level, almost every character or villager in Stardew Valley has one of three responses upon speaking to them for the first time: excitement, indifference, complete disinterest bordering on hostility. It can be very easy to take an immediate like or dislike to a villager depending on their response. This is something I was guilty of the first time I played. I ignored Shane for a while because of how he spoke to me on my first day. But as you progress further through the game and interact with the villagers, it becomes clear that each villager's personality is incredibly fleshed out. Except Clint. His entire personality is he is a blacksmith and has a crush on a villager called Emily. But enough about Clint. Talking to the villagers and giving them gifts will increase your friendship level with them. The higher your friendship with a villager is, the more cutscenes featuring that villager you unlock. These cutscenes can do any of the following things: provide an insight into the character's life and their backstory, change their attitude towards you as they begin to trust you more, completely overhaul a villager's personality, painting them in a brand new light. Each villager feels completely unique. It is very apparent that a lot of effort went into establishing each villager as their own unique entity with their own quirks and charms. We have Robin, the town carpenter. She initially makes fun of the farmer's farm but goes on to build various structures for the farmer. Robin will spend days on end working on coops, barns and ponds for the farmer. Marnie is the owner of the local ranch. We can buy various animals from her along with items for our coops and barns. She also seems to have fallen in love with the mayor of Pelican Town, Lewis. Lewis, however, consistently makes excuses as to why he can't be in a relationship with her. Lewis is an interesting critter, to say the least. We've got Pierre, the local shopkeeper who sells seeds to the farmer. Willie, the local fisherman who gives the farmer a fishing rod on their second day in town. Linus, the local vagabond who is completely at peace with living amongst nature. Gus, the owner of the saloon in town who gives us a mini jukebox. And Harvey. At some point in the future, I will be very happy to do a full analysis of every villager in Stardew Valley. But in this video, I want to focus on the character who I believe has arguably the best character arc in the game. I am, of course, talking about Hayley. Now, before you click off the video, just hear me out, okay? I'm going to explain exactly why I think she has the best character arc out of any villager in the game. On the 13th of November 2013, Concerned Ape provided an insight into Hayley's backstory in a post titled Dev Update number 12 on the Stardew Valley website. The following is what he wrote. Being wealthy and popular throughout high school has made Hayley a little conceited and self-centered. She has a tendency to judge people for superficial reasons. But is it too late for her to discover a deeper meaning to life? Is there a fun, open-minded young woman hidden within that candy-coated shell? This little excerpt perfectly summarizes Hayley's character development throughout the game. When interacting with Hayley for the first time, she says, "Oh, you're that new farmer boy, aren't you? Huh. Oh, okay, okay. You know, this is really awkward for me to read out loud. I'm just going to let you read it off the screen instead." This isn't exactly the nicest thing to say to somebody who is new in town. Hayley's attitude towards the farmer and Pelican Town in general remains largely the same while the farmer has a low friendship level with her. Other dialogue lines from Hayley at this point include, "My sister is so weird, sometimes I wonder if we're actually related." Just to clarify here, the sister Hayley is referring to is another villager named Emily. "I'm feeling an urge to go shopping. I wish there was a mall here. The only thing I like about this town is the beach." In my opinion, these dialogue lines reflect the superficial and judgmental attitude of Hayley that Concerned Ape referred to in the Dev Update number 12 post. However, as the farmer interacts with Hayley more often and improves their friendship level with her, the way she speaks to the farmer begins to change. Upon reaching a friendship level of 6 with Hayley, her attitude will slightly change. She retains her materialistic mindset, but it is also clear we are seeing a new side to Hayley, perhaps even the real Hayley. Here are some of her dialogue lines at this point. "I'm thinking about donating a bunch of clothes. I must have 100 pairs of shoes. I need a new hobby other than shopping. I've decided to expand my horizons. Maybe I should learn how to play the mini harp. I used to complain about this town being so small, but I've grown to like it. If it was much bigger, it wouldn't feel like a community." The cutscene you unlock at this point also portrays Hayley as being a very sentimental person who cares a lot more about her family and friends than she lets on. In this cutscene, we bump into Hayley at the beach. She appears to be really upset about something. We find out that the reason for this is because she lost a bracelet that belonged to her great-grandmother. We find the bracelet nearby and return it to Hayley, who embraces the farmer and tells them that she won't forget what they did for her. When the farmer has a friendship level of 8 with Hayley, she is an entirely different person compared to the Hayley they met on their first day in town. In the cutscene unlocked at this point, we see the farmer taking pictures of Hayley with a cow. The pair are laughing and having a jolly good time when Hayley falls off the cow. The old Hayley probably would have gotten very annoyed when this happened, but now she laughs it off. The following day, the farmer receives a letter from Hayley. She tells them she had a lot of fun yesterday and hopes to see them again soon. Having said all of that, there are two things that really help to establish the fact that Hayley's character is anything but one-dimensional. The first is the following line of dialogue unlocked at a friendship level of 8. Yesterday I found a seagull with her wing caught in a net. I set her free, of course. She looked so helpless, the poor thing. The second is the entirety of Hayley's 14-heart cutscene. Something to note here is you have to marry Hayley in order to get her friendship level this high. There are 3 parts to this cutscene. Part 1 shows Hayley overhearing a conversation between Penny, Jazz and Vincent. Jazz and Vincent's school books are falling apart. Unfortunately though, Penny doesn't have enough money to afford new books, so there's nothing she can do about it. In Part 2, Hayley asks the farmer to bring a chocolate cake to an event she is hosting in town. If the farmer agrees, then Hayley tells them she'll meet them in the town square the following day. However, if the farmer is hesitant when they say yes, Hayley responds with, "What's up with the snarky attitude? Fine, you're going to show up tomorrow with a chocolate cake, or else you're in the doghouse. You like that better?" It is very clear that whatever it is Hayley has planned is very important to her. In Part 3, we find out exactly why Hayley set up this event. After handing out various cakes to the villagers, Hayley announces that all of the money she raised during this event is going towards new books for Vincent and Jazz. This cutscene alone shows just how much Hayley changes for the better. Maybe this is truly just a case of somebody maturing and developing a different mindset with new priorities as time passes. Or perhaps this has been the real Hayley all along. For one reason or another, Hayley covered up the real her with a superficial attitude. Possibly in an effort to seem as cool as she was during high school. All she needed was a slight nudge from the farmer in the right direction to show the real her. Regardless, Hayley's character arc in Stardew Valley is, in my opinion, on the same level as the character arcs in the story-based games I mentioned previously. Games like Life is Strange and The Wolf Among Us. This is but one of the reasons why Stardew Valley completely surpassed any and all expectations I had of the game. Also, there's something I noticed about Hayley that I found very interesting. As I mentioned before, there is an item in the game called a prismatic shard. It can be sold for 2,000 gold. It can also be exchanged for the Galaxy Sword, a very powerful weapon. The prismatic shard is one of the rarest and most valuable items in the game. Because of this, every villager in the game loves to receive it as a gift. Well, almost every villager. There is a single villager who does not love it. In fact, they hate it. And that villager is Hayley. The one villager who doesn't want to receive one of the most valuable items in the game is the same villager who has been described as being superficial. Like I said, Hayley is anything but a one-dimensional character. Pelican Town feels like a living, breathing place. The map of the town can make it seem smaller than it actually is, especially compared to the maps for many other games. But playing the game for the first time can actually be a bit overwhelming at times as you try to explore every area the game has to offer. Let's take the town square as our starting point. Here you can find the clinic, the saloon, Pierre's store and a couple of houses. To the right of the town square is a Joja Mart, the museum and the blacksmith shop owned by Clint. Venturing left of the town square will lead you to the farm, Marnie's ranch and the forest which also contains the wizard's tower. To the south of the town square is the beach where you can find Willie's shop and a cabin owned by a villager named Elliot. To the north of town is the carpenter shop owned by Robin, the mines, the bathhouse area and the Adventurers Guild, a shop and the home of Marlin and Gil. Walking around Pelican Town and the surrounding area will provide you with a glimpse into the lives of the local villagers. Penny can often be found sitting under a tree reading a book. Abigail plays her flute at the lake beside the carpenter shop on the 6th and 16th days of every season. Hayley uses her camera to take pictures by the lake near Marnie's ranch. Many of the villagers head to the saloon every Friday night. These are all small things, but they make the town feel so much more alive. One thing I absolutely love about Stardew Valley is that the farmer's actions can have a visible effect on the town. Helping the Junimos by donating the items they need not only results in the community centre being rebuilt, it also causes the Joja shop to be replaced with a cinema. Alternatively, you can buy a Joja membership. This allows you to begin donating gold to Joja to fund upgrades being made to the town. Unlocking all 5 upgrades results in the Joja shop remaining in town and the community centre initially being replaced by a warehouse before eventually becoming a cinema. While working towards this, you will also cause other changes to the town. The bus will be repaired, allowing you to travel to Calico Desert. The bridge to the quarry area will be repaired. The minecart system will be restored, allowing you to quickly travel between the bus stop, the mines, the quarry and the blacksmith shop. The greenhouse on your farm will be restored, allowing you to grow any crop in the game during any and all seasons inside it. Assuming Robin has fully upgraded your farmhouse, you can give her 500,000 gold and 950 pieces of wood. These will be used to build a new house for 2 villagers, Penny and her mother Pam. This new house replaces the trailer they used to live in. Following this, you can pay Robin 300,000 gold and she will add shortcuts in the town. This is pretty expensive, but it is nice to have this option. After the community centre has been rebuilt, or you have purchased the upgrades from Joja, you can help Willy repair his boat. This unlocks a completely new area called Ginger Island. 5 new characters can be found here, unless I am very much mistaken. Professor Snail, Birdie, a bluebird who acts as a merchant of sorts on the island, Leo, and a dwarf who also acts as a merchant in the mine system found in the volcano on the island. Similar to Pelican Town, the farmer's actions here can have a visible effect on the island. The farmer can collect golden walnuts, which is the main currency used on the island. These golden walnuts can be given to the pirates on the island. In exchange, they will make various changes here, including restoring a farmhouse that the farmer can sleep in, building a fast travel system similar to the minecarts in Pelican Town, and constructing a little resort on the island. This allows the villagers in Pelican Town to visit Ginger Island. The game actively encourages you to explore as much as you can, both in Pelican Town and Ginger Island. And I'm glad it does, because the more I explored every area in the game, the more I felt myself being immersed in the world of Stardew Valley. Allowing the player's actions to have an actual impact on the world is always a really nice addition to any game, and in my opinion, it was implemented perfectly in Stardew Valley. The gameplay in Stardew Valley is something that I've lightly touched on in the previous segments of this video, but to leave it at that would be doing the game a massive disservice. My initial reaction to seeing the cover art of Stardew Valley was, oh, cool, a farming game. And it is a farming game. But it's also so much more than that, and then some. The farmer can level up 5 different skills. Leveling up these skills provides the farmer with new crafting and cooking recipes. It also allows them to choose different perks that have various effects on the farmer. We are going to analyze each skill and their effect on the gameplay in my absolute favourite way to analyze things. Chronological order. And let's throw in friendship too. Farming can be one of, if not the best way to make money in the game. The way it works is simple on paper. Buy seeds, plant seeds, water seeds, harvest the crops that grow from the seeds. Sell the crop or turn the crops into juice and wine or pickles and jam using a keg or preserve jar respectively. But you'd be surprised how quickly farming can go from watering a few crops every day to spending an entire day watering all of your crops day in and day out. There is, quite frankly, a concerning amount of seeds in the game. In fact, there are so many that I'm not even going to read them all out. I'm just going to put a picture with them all on the screen. There are many ways you can approach the process of choosing which crop or crops to grow during each season. Some people grow as many of the most profitable crops as they can. Others go down the aesthetic route and plant flowers. Personally, I like to begin each season by buying 5 of every seed and planting them. Then I buy 10 of every seed, just in case I missed one. Eventually though, I just start planting whatever seeds I have and leave the rest up to fate. So, you've got a farm full of fully grown seeds. What do you do now? There are multiple options. Option 1, harvest everything, throw them into your shipping bin, receive your money, and go on a massive shopping spree. Option 2. Harvest everything, but throw them into kegs to produce juices and wines, then throw these into a cask to age them to increase their value, then sell them. I have tried to do this, but I simply do not have the patience, which leads me to Option 3. Harvest half of the crops and throw them into one of the many chests you have just in case you need them in the future. Then leave the remaining crops on the farm because they look pretty and, quite frankly, you don't have the energy to replant all of your seeds again. As you increase your farming skill, you will gain access to different perks. These perks range from causing your crops to grow 10% faster, to making items like cheese, wine and juice sell for 40% more gold. Also, when it comes to watering your crops, sprinklers are your best friend. Trying to water a field full of seeds manually is a bit like the pencil I spent 2 hours chewing on when I was 7 years old. Entirely pointless. On the 5th day of spring, the farmer gains access to the mines in Pelican Town. Going through the mines at the beginning of the game can be a bit of a difficult process. At the very least, it can be pretty time consuming. The reason for this is Stardew Valley features an energy system. As you use your pickaxe to break rocks, your energy depletes. If you allow your energy to drop too low, then the farmer becomes exhausted and walks very slowly. Depleting your energy a bit further results in the farmer passing out. But with that being said, the mines can be a very lucrative place. You can find copper, iron and gold ore, all of which can be smelted into bars using a furnace. You can also find valuable gems and minerals which can be sold, donated to the museum and given as gifts to the villagers. Reaching level 100 of the mines will reward you with a star drop. A star drop increases your maximum energy, so naturally it is very beneficial to grab this. Reaching the final level of the mines, level 120, will reward you with the Skull Key. When discussing the world of Stardew Valley, I mentioned that the bus can be repaired, allowing the farmer to travel to Calico Desert. A mine system of sorts called the Skull Cavern can be found in this desert. The farmer uses the Skull Key to unlock the door to the Skull Cavern and ventures inside. The Skull Cavern contains even more valuable ores, gems and minerals. Also, unlike the mines in Pelican Town, there is no final level in the Skull Cavern. Well, technically the final level in the Skull Cavern is this number. But the way I see it is, if I'm too lazy to say the number, then it's not canon, alright? There is no final floor in the Skull Caverns. Foraging is one of my favourite aspects of Stardew Valley because of how relaxing it is. Seriously, if you're playing Stardew Valley right now, then stop what you're doing and spend the rest of the day gallivanting around the map, collecting any forage items you see. It's a nice break from the hustle and bustle of everything else you can do in the game. Dare I even say it is therapeutic. On a serious note, foraging refers to collecting various items that can be found on the ground. Again, there are quite a few forage items in the game, so I'll just put a picture of them all up on the screen. These items don't necessarily sell for a lot of gold, but they do have other purposes. Some can be donated to the community center. Others can be used in cooking recipes, crafting recipes, or used to build structures on the farm. And quite a few replenish a decent chunk of the farmer's energy when eaten, making them valuable resources in the early stages of the game. The foraging skill can be leveled up by collecting these forage items and by chopping down trees. The perks associated with this skill range from trees dropping 25% more wood when they're chopped down, to the farmer having a 20% chance of receiving 2 of any forage item they collect. You can also pick a perk that causes small yellow arrows to pop up on the screen that point in the direction of forage items. Yeah, do not pick this perk, it's not worth it. Imagine if the person who made Geometry Dash made a fishing game. Yeah, that doesn't even come close to describing how painful the fishing game in Stardew Valley can be if you don't spend a bit of time practicing. There are many different fish in the game. Some are actually very easy to catch. But there are a select few fish that I'm convinced have become sentient. I am also convinced that these fish have made it their mission to completely destroy my nervous system and also cause my heart to permanently beat 20% faster than it used to. I'm kidding, of course, but it is legitimately nerve-wracking trying to catch some of these fish at times. Despite this, I've actually grown to love the fishing minigame. One of the best feelings you can experience in this game is finally catching the legend fish, or the glacier fish. or the scorpion carp. As you level up your fishing skill, you can purchase new fishing rods and unlock the ability to use bait, lead bobbers and spinners, all of which can make the process of catching fish less time consuming and slightly less difficult. At fishing level 5, you gain access to a perk that adds a 25% bonus to the gold earned from selling fish. At fishing level 10, this bonus can be increased to 50%. Because of this, going all in on fishing at the start of the game can be a great way to make quite a bit of gold during the first season. The combat aspect of Stardew Valley is relatively straightforward. The mines, the Skull Cavern and the volcano on Ginger Island all contain monsters which the farmer can fight. As the farmer progresses through the mines and later on the volcano, they gain access to various weapons. Swords, daggers, hammers and slingshots can be used by the farmer to take on these monsters. Your combat level increases as you defeat more and more monsters. Upon reaching levels 1 through 4 and levels 6 through 9 inclusive, the farmer gains 5 health points. Depending on the perks chosen at level 5 and 10, the farmer can gain a total of 10 extra health points. Or they can choose different perks, such as a 15% increase to the damage that their weapon does. Throughout this video, I have referred to the farmer's friendship level with a villager. Now that I think about it, I probably should have talked about this earlier, but it is what it is. At the very beginning of the game, the farmer's friendship level with every villager is 0. The maximum friendship level the farmer can reach with a villager is 14. Sort of. In order to keep this as straightforward as possible, I'm going to divide the villagers into 3 separate groups. Group number 1 consists of every villager that is single, as in the farmer can choose to romance them and eventually marry them. The farmer can initially only achieve a maximum friendship level of 8 with these villagers. Upon reaching a level 8 friendship with a villager, the farmer can then purchase a bouquet in Pierre's shop. Giving the bouquet to a villager results in them becoming your boyfriend or girlfriend and unlocks 2 extra friendship levels with this villager. When a friendship level of 10 has been achieved, the farmer can then purchase the mermaid's pendant and give this to the villager. This is essentially a marriage proposal. Assuming the farmer has a friendship level of 10 with this boyfriend or girlfriend, and they have upgraded their farmhouse at least once, their proposal will be accepted. This then unlocks another 4 friendship levels, making 14 the maximum friendship level attainable with the villagers in this group. Group number 2 consists of all of the villagers that the farmer cannot give a bouquet to or marry. Increasing your friendship level with these villagers may seem pointless because of this, but that isn't the case. In fact, there are quite a few benefits associated with becoming great friends with these villagers. They will send you cooking recipes in the mail. You can unlock cutscenes featuring these villagers that showcase their backstory. They will send you gifts in the mail. It should also be noted that these benefits apply to the first group of villagers too. Finally, we have Group 3, which includes all of the villagers that the farmer can interact with but do not have a friendship level associated with them. Despite this, quite a few of these villagers are still important. For example, Gunther is in charge of the museum in Pelican Town. Morris is the manager of the Joja shop. And Gil can be found in the Adventurers Guild with Marlin. He also provides the farmer with rewards for defeating monsters in the mines. In total, there are 45 villagers in the game. And yes, I do consider the Goblin Henchman, Krobus and the Bouncer to be villagers. After all, when it comes time for me to sing with the villagers, they too shall be part of the choir. This video would not feel complete if we didn't discuss what I believe is a major reason why this game has retained its popularity 7 years after its release. Mods. There is quite frankly a ludicrous number of mods available for this game. If you're looking for a fresh coat of paint for Stardew Valley, there are mods available that completely overhaul the look of the game. Alternatively, you can download mods that have redesigned the portraits and sprites for the villagers. Have you made friends with all of the villagers and want somebody new to talk to, give gifts to and perhaps marry? There are many mods available that add brand new NPCs to the game. More often than not, these mods include hundreds of dialogue lines and brand new cutscenes. Do you want to start a new farm but are feeling slightly lazy? Not to worry, there are mods available that can decrease the time investment required to develop a highly profitable farm. Basically, they make it easier and less time consuming to progress through the game. Perhaps you have done everything there is to do in Stardew Valley, but you're not quite ready to move on yet. Mods like Stardew Valley Expanded, Downtown Zuzu, Doran's Rest, East Scarp, and Ridgeside Village all add new areas, new villagers, new crafting and cooking recipes, and many other items to the game. If you are interested in any of the mods that I've talked about or shown pictures of, then check the description of this video. The links to all of the mods will be there. As we approach the end of this retrospective, I'm going to summarize everything I've said up to this point. I'm also going to praise the game just a tiny bit more. Stardew Valley is a beautiful game. It allows you to choose who you want to be, what your story is, and how you want to affect Pelican Town and the villagers that live there. Pelican Town can feel like a metropolis of sorts at times. And yet, there are places you can go to in the town and surrounding areas that honestly make me feel at peace with the world. Areas that make me feel truly relaxed, dare I even say they make me feel a deep sense of tranquility. The number of crops and villagers, the many different ways you can progress through the game, and the various skills associated with your farmer all combine to make each playthrough feel like a fresh experience every single time. Stardew Valley is a masterpiece. It has retained its rustic charm since day one while simultaneously evolving on a regular basis thanks to updates being added and new mods being made for the game. And I think that's a good place to end the video. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good one.